I'm just getting this started. All right, today we're talking about what if I make a mistake on my immigration forms. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. My name is John Ting, your host, and here to solve your immigration problem or maybe even prevent it from happening in the first place. All right, folks, welcome. If you're new to the channel, to the show, we do offer free 15-minute mini strategy session. Sometimes we go a little longer, 30 minutes, 1 hour, because we're just getting the flow of things, sharing information. I just got done with the consultation, actually, and it was almost like 45 minutes. So, from time to time, if I have the time, I'm happy to share more information as because at the end, it's just like the show. I love to share information because there's a lot of uncertainty, and I think it's, I find it a little bit strange that sometimes people hire a lawyer that they're not actually comfortable with, but maybe because they heard about that lawyer through a friend or a family member and like, okay, well, I don't know anyone else, so I'll just hire that person. You really need to do your own research, your due diligence. Even people that get referred to us from clients or family, we tell them, look, read our reviews, understand what we're about, take a look at our website, ask us questions, because immigration, it can be a long journey. So it can be, fortunately, the trend with marriage cases the past since, January 2023, it's been fast. Not for everyone, okay? Not for everyone. I can't guarantee that, but it's been much faster. But especially employment-based cases, there is something like, Disney's rep or Genie Pass. There is something called premium processing, but that's only for the petition step. It's not for anything else. I wish there was a premium processing for every other step in when a company sponsors you. So, but yeah, let's talk about this, and I'll switch back over to talk about the employment-based cases. And again, if you're new to the channel or if you've been shy, you're always welcome to comment, or if you have a question, you can comment down below, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and I'll try my best to answer those questions, okay? So let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. The topic for the day is, what if I make a mistake on my immigration form? Boy, so, some people just miss things. I don't know what it is, but I hope it's not something like significant, like a marriage from a prior spouse. I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone forgot to write down their prior spouse. But that is very, very important for sure. Or maybe your name is misspelled, or your date of birth is wrong. Date of birth is actually a very serious situation compared to maybe your name is missing. Like, it's like if you look at the keyboard, the E and R are right next to each other, right? So maybe a slip of a finger. But of course, if you're new and you haven't filed a case before, please review your documents, review your forms, because even when we work with clients, our side on our team, we review it, but we also ask clients to review it. Okay, and we also ask clients to sign off through Adobe, just electronic signature. It's just part of our quality control, and it's not to like shift blame, but it's basically slowing us down just a bit, just a little bit, to slow down and say, it's like if you're reading it off, I accurately provided the information, our review forms. It's really is like almost like a pause to make sure that you did do that. Because some people say, oh yeah, I checked it, I reviewed it, and they didn't. And it's honestly sometimes like how people sign our quotes, our contracts, and because they trust us. And we always tell people, slow down, read it, because we put a lot of information in there to share the expectation, everything that's going to go on. We even put a step-by-step on there, an estimated timeline, because we think more information is better. Knowledge is power, just like we go on sharing on live shows and things like that. So I do see some questions in the comment section. I will get to that soon. Thank you so much. And what's the other thing here? What do you do? Okay. If you believe it's something significant and not minor, but something significant is like your date of birth, even though you may have provided the birth certificate or something like that, clearly the USCIS is going to be super confused. So they're not going to be able to waive the interview if there's some data that's incorrect. Okay. Now, and you might wonder, like, we've even had a client where, for example, they didn't even know about, their birth certificate was not the correct birth certificate obtained from the proper government authority, because you can get a birth certificate, but it might be from a different government authority that the U.S. government does not accept, and unfortunately, there's reasons for that, and so that it could bite you back. So you want to make sure. So we help them with a waiver after the fact, but that's an example that these little things might end up being a serious problem and derail being able to get your legal status. So what do you do? All right. Especially if you have a marriage-based case and you are eligible for getting your green card while you are in America, then you want to file an updated application. Okay. Now, I wouldn't just file it by itself. Okay. Because you file it by yourself, and obviously you're not going to pay a duplicate government fee, then they're going to reject it. So you do have to write a letter, explain the situation, and even provide them which questions you've updated. All right. Now, will it ultimately get that new updated form to your case file? I sure hope so. Is it going to be perfect and get there and get combined with it? I don't know. I don't know how the government works, but if you want to give yourself the best chance and not mislead the government, you want to update them sooner than later. Now, I'm not saying freak out and try to get it done this week, but my point is the trend right now with USCIS for marriage cases, it's happening, y'all. They're speeding it up. Okay. Again, not for everyone. I don't want to necessarily call it luck of the draw, but there is also, like, many people have filed before 2023 and are still waiting. So, fortunately, we actually had some towards the end of the year 2022, and they got approved without a waiver. But yeah, I can't promise. For those that have been waiting a long time, we definitely do file lawsuits, okay, based on mandamus, cause of action, to get your case moving, because some people have been stuck for a long time. And unfortunately, being stuck means that if you don't have the green card, no resident status, then you can't sponsor your other family members, right? Or anyway, it just holds up everything, okay? Republicans will call that chain migration. I call it, immigration lawyers call it, keeping the family together, okay? So it's all about phrasing, right? The media. So, but anyways, chain migration is not a bad thing, okay? It's good to keep the family together. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. And I get it. There's some immigrants, foreign nationals, who are Republican, okay, conservative. That doesn't mean you have to be. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. Yeah, it's just crazy in Florida. I'm here in Texas. It's crazy in Texas politically, but Florida's like got their own crazy thing going on. I wish you all the best there. I will talk more about that bill that just passed into law in Florida. Texas had something somewhat similar, but I think Florida, it seemed like it went a step further in terms of trying to make enforcement actions. And I don't understand why they're doing that, but well, I mean, I guess I do. What's his name is just trying to run for president next election. So, okay, so yeah, again, what if you're just now joining? What if I make a mistake on my immigration forms? That is the question of the day. You want to update the form, okay, and mail it in as soon as possible. If you're wondering where to mail it in, look on your receipt notice. On the bottom left corner will have the address. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that your case file is still there, but that's really the best place to provide an updated copy. And you have to provide it with a cover letter signed by you explaining the situation. Okay. Now, you do, of course, need to speak with a lawyer. Now, if you think it's a very serious situation, all right, you don't know. If it's just like updating your date of birth or something like that, or name got updated or something, you can do that on your own. But I think you would know when it's very serious, and definitely need to speak with a lawyer. Okay, at least have a consultation. Now, which, by the way, folks, we do offer 15 minutes mini strategy session, point you in the right direction. There's no obligation to hire. Of course, it'll be our pleasure to assist you from start to finish. But one of the best ways to get in contact with us is the phone number right above there, or go to freevisaquiz.com. If for some reason the website's a bit wonky, doesn't work, I apologize, but click refresh again, or just go to greencardguys.com, and we have a form on there, just a couple questions, and that'll help. Just because we get a lot of inquiries, it will save us a lot of time. And I know you're working, so save you some time as well. All right, on to the questions. All right, that's about 11 minutes. All right, what's up, Instagram? Still trying to figure out Meta. It's a bit confusing. By the way, did y'all hear about the state of Montana just passed a law it's banning TikTok? I don't know what y'all think, but yeah, I think that would be interesting. That's going to go up to Supreme Court. I don't know how quick that will go, but usually, they'll hear it. Since now it's May, someone's going to sue them. I think the ACLU, but May. I don't know if the Supreme Court will have an emergency hearing for something like this. It's got to go through the other courts first anyway. All right, so the questions here, Omar, you're waiting for me to ask about Ankara. So in Turkey, right? I think you asked me this the other day. You need to give me more details. I don't recall you telling me the other day, like, where your case is currently located in this, or what stage it's at. Like, is it documented qualified? When was it DQ'd? Or are you waiting? So of course, waiting for the interview, or are you still waiting? Your petition still pending? So there's a lot of different scenarios where we have sued the government, USCIS or Department of State, for delays in your cases, but it has to be a long period of time. And not every law firm has their own chart per se. We've created our own just based on experience. But look, if you filed your case like 6 months ago, that's too soon to file a lawsuit. Okay, so it just depends. All right. But thanks for the question. But I'll be on standby, Omar, if you add more information in the comment section. And as you asked on my last show about submitted AOS. Okay, that's right. Was that yesterday? Medical RFE, and they marked as received. Okay, no change yet or approval. Okay, so you just called USCIS yesterday, and the case is still processing normally, but there's no indication whether your interview will be waived or not, despite them asking for medical RFE. Now what? Yeah, I'll just hang tight. Okay, NS. It's good that they at least, it sounds like they acknowledge that they received the medical exam. So it's very good. Okay. Try not to get anxious, because it's not normal it's honestly not normal for the USCIS to waive interviews anyway. I don't believe there's a change in the policy. But again, if you think you gave a pretty good amount of evidence of marriage, living together, things like that, expenses, income together, essentially. No, I said income together. I meant like the bank account shared together, but then you should be okay, right? I don't know your case, but again, our success story is that our experience is fortunately that after the government USCIS received the medical exam, we got the notification online, approved same day or like the following day. So, but knock on wood, hopefully that continues. Hopefully you get the interview information soon, not interview, but the information soon. So yeah, in these scenarios, we don't want an interview, right? But hey, if you have an interview, it's okay. For us, we prepare our clients. We have a list of questions. We have honestly a list of 100 questions, like the red flag type of questions, just to prepare our clients. But fortunately, All our clients are in legitimate, genuine, bona fide marriages. I did catch at least one, and I told him, look, sorry, got to withdraw, can't help you. We do not accept any cases that are fraudulent. You have to be in a legitimate marriage to this happen. Because red flag here is that if USCIS knows, some people think they can get away with it. I'm sure some people have, but when USCIS sees a pattern in cases, they detect fraud. That's what they're good at. So, and just because you have an interview doesn't mean they detected fraud. Okay. But when they separate you into different rooms, then that should be a red alert to your mind. I really need to be paying attention in this interview because a lot of people, it doesn't matter if it's a foreign national or the US citizen, a lot of people, especially when we're preparing clients, they're just a lot of y'all are very nonchalant, like no big deal, which is good to be like chill, but you need to pay attention to these questions. Don't think it's not a big deal. Really, really gotta pay attention. Okay. You gotta prepare with your spouse. Really do. Okay. Don't fly by night in these kind of interviews. Gotta prepare. I'm not saying freak out, but I'm not saying you gotta study like an exam, but y'all really gotta pay attention. Okay. And the thing is, even if it's a real marriage, y'all gotta pay attention because, again, if you're like nonchalant, just answering a question nonchalantly, and you think it's no big deal, of course, these questions are not like, hey, did you commit a crime? I mean, yeah, there is that kind of question, but you really got, yeah, I don't know how else to say this. You really got to pay attention. Don't think it's like not serious, because even if it's a simple question and you answer incorrectly, I just give an example. Like I remember someone said, officer asked one of our clients before we represented them, like, oh, how many tattoos does your spouse have any tattoos? And the other spouse said, oh, I don't know if she has any. I don't think she does. But yeah, I mean, y'all gotta know these things. How do you not know? I mean, if your spouse has a lot of tattoos, probably hard to remember the number of tattoos. But look, I mean, you gotta at least know if your spouse has some tattoos, I would think. And so, right, like if you're getting intimate and you don't see any tattoos, but it's clearly right there, there's something wrong, right? At least in USCIS mind. So I don't know, to each their own. But yeah, we've helped him out after the fact when he had a different lawyer. But that's why preparation are the 3 P's I learned in law school. If there's anything I learned in law school, that was the critical thing right there. Okay. And it's proven successful for me, useful. All right. Meet the Gordons, MNG. That's cool. You must have your own YouTube channel. I gotta check that out. Had an interview today. Wow. And now you're joining a show? Okay. But you didn't know he was in removal proceedings until today. So the officer said he could only interview you for the I-130, but not the 485. But you don't know what to do. Any advice? Okay. Doesn't sound like they're giving you a hard time that you didn't know that your spouse was in removal proceedings. But what's up with the removal proceedings? Is it closed out? Because sometimes, well, most of the time in this kind of scenario, Gordon family, is that it's more of a jurisdictional thing, meaning USCIS cannot approve the 485 application because his case is still, or your spouse's case is still in the court. Now, even if the judge administratively closed the court case, USCIS still cannot approve the 485. I know. It's totally annoying. I've been trying to. I thank you so much for this, sharing this situation, especially it just happened today. I feel honored that you asked me this question in a timely manner. But yeah, it's more, at least by what you're sharing right now, it's more of a legal jurisdiction situation. So, but yeah, a lot of people have called us and said, oh yeah, the great thing happened. The court administrator closed my case. But we tell people, look, that's not it's kind of like, let's see here. It's kind of like this. Okay, the court's got a case file, but it's still on the desk. It's still chilling right here. They didn't get rid of it. It's still there. So if for some reason your spouse, knock on wood, but as commits a crime or allegedly commits a crime, let's say DWI, eventually it's going to get sent back to court and case going to get reopened, or maybe there's another more conservative president in the future and they're going to reopen these cases because President Trump, first year, they started reopening these cases. So administrative closure is not enough. You got to go all the way for dismissal. Okay. So in this scenario, you probably need a lawyer. Not sure if you had one. So you don't have to hire one where you live. It's up to you. We're happy to help. But you do need to file a motion to dismiss. It's always stronger. It's for the judge to agree to motion to dismiss or order dismissal if the government, Department of Homeland Security, agrees to it. So that's our step number one, contact government attorney and get that going. Okay, so even if, Gordon family, even if you receive a approval notice on your I-130, that's good, but it's not the end of the journey, okay? You still got to take care of this court case. All right, so I'm just making an assumption that the removal proceeding was administrative closed, but maybe it's still active in general. Maybe it's not closed at all. All right, and you can still, of course, file that motion to dismiss. Okay, I see your more question. The officer said he's only going to send the mail to you. Okay, so I think maybe that means the approval notice probably for the petition. But yeah, is your spouse's case still active, or is it administrative closed? Do you have a lawyer for that part, for the court case? If you're saying you didn't know at all about removal proceedings, then maybe it's been closed for a long time. But either way, it's still possible to get that dismissed in general, okay? Especially now knowing that you have a marriage case filed. Okay, a lot of great questions. Okay, let me see. Back to, but yeah, Gordon family, if you do have more information you want to share, you could drop in the comments. Let me go to the next one. Coco. All right, you filed for GC last year in June. Okay. Oh, it's okay. We're 11-month period now. Your husband and you got married in May. Okay, the prior month. OPT ended in June. Okay, so last year he joined university, got CPT. He's the sole breadwinner as you're the housewife. Some people use the word housewife. Man, I would call it house manager or something. I was going to say something else, but house manager at least. Okay, y'all gotta, whoever's at home is really managing the house, right? Call yourself the house manager. At least in late October. Okay, so that was late. He lost the CPT due to university. Okay, so lost his job. Sounds like just last week. You got RFE for 485. So it sounds like, Coco, you're the one that's the U.S. citizen. I think you said that earlier. For joint sponsor. Okay, yeah, they're quick to ask for that. Okay, so that means they're getting close for you to give you a decision, but they need the joint sponsorship paperwork. Should you acknowledge your husband is working without CPT? No, if they ask you in an interview, hey, are you working, buddy? You don't lie. You tell the truth. And that's okay. But when you update and provide the 864 for your joint sponsor, there's not a question to ask for that. Okay. I know I just went over 864 with someone yesterday, but there's a section that does ask about like household member, but it says optional there because you don't have to provide that information. Okay. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, your joint sponsor is not your spouse. It has to be someone else. And what we do with our clients is that maybe before the income was sufficient, but maybe now it's like lower, and so then that would be low, and below the minimum poverty guidelines, which, by the way, it's the form 864P. If you just Google search, it'll take you straight there. But we'll drop a link later. Okay. Let's see here. You mean should we just answer to the RFE and wait it out, or what should we do? Well, you definitely have to respond to RFE, but you don't have to tell him about him not working or not working without CPT. You really, with RFE, request for evidence, it's a great question. With a request for evidence, you only answer the question or their concern, okay? Don't provide them more information than you need to, because it's going to confuse the heck out of them. We make the job easy for the officer. Do not confuse them by providing more information. Yes, you're telling the truth, but do you need to share that information? Only answer the question or their concern in that letter, just as you would in an interview. Okay? In an interview, we tell clients, don't talk about Aunt Sally. Aunt Sally has nothing to do about this case. All right? I know we're coming off the pandemic. We love to share stories. Let's keep that to a minimum, though. Okay, go to the cafe with your buddies, but don't need to be like chit chatting with officers. Now, look, these officers are friendly, at least when I'm there. Maybe I just set the tone a different way, a different vibe, chill vibe. But you want to make sure you don't overshare. There's really no need to, even if it's not going to hurt your case. These interviews, I bet a lot of these USCIS officers are excited to waive these interviews. Hey, look, it reduces the amount of work they got to do, right? I mean, no offense to government workers or anything, but I think government workers prefer to do less work, and also probably in the private sector too, right? So you gotta think about this, right? Like, don't share more than you don't need to. It sounds like your RFE did not ask those questions. Okay, you're the green card holder. I'm scrolling down. You're a green card holder. Okay, let me. Okay. That's a different legal scenario, Coco. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me share my screen, but let's see here. How do I? Okay, there we go. Let me present this. Well, so there's a couple of things to know about this. Number one, this is the I think May or June. This is the most updated. Okay, folks on Instagram, I'm sharing my screen on YouTube and Facebook. But if you do have access, then you can go to greencardguys.tv if you want to see it. Right now, I'm just sharing the visa bulletin, the June updated one. That is the most recent one, and it says two things to see here, like in Coco's situation. Number one is the visa current, okay, for this category. F2A is by spouse who's a resident. That is the F2A category. And then can your spouse even have the visa available? Okay, and that is yes. That's step number one to understand. However, the problem now is that for family preference categories and also employment based, you have to maintain your status. It is absolutely important. If you fail to maintain status, you go out of status, whether it's your fault or not your fault. Okay, the government does not care. Okay, you have to maintain your status in order to obtain resident status. Okay, so let me see if I can find the other website I was just looking at the other day. Okay, let me see here. Let me copy this link. Yeah, y'all need to know this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Yeah, that's a great question. Y'all have a lot of questions today, okay? At least on YouTube and Facebook. I will get to those as soon as I can. Thank you so much for your questions. Let me make sure I don't have another meeting after this. All right, so let's see. Let me pull it up here. Hang on tight, okay? I know y'all are busy. Thank you so much for trusting me to share information here. All right, so Coco here is a green card holder, which normally can be okay, but the problem here when it's based on residency, sponsor being a resident, is that you have to maintain status. Okay, for the foreign national, the beneficiary or immigrant, however you want to label it, I guess you can say. So this is a part. Now, I love to share my source. My source is the U.S. government. This is the USCIS website, uscis.gov. This is the policy manual, chapter 2. I am happy to share this with you. Our marketing team will post a comment here later so you can have access to this. Who is eligible to adjust status? I won't go through everything, okay? But an adjustment status is a phrase meaning if you're here in the United States. If you're outside abroad, then that's default, what we call consular processing, okay? I don't know how they came up with these phrases, but anyways. Okay, so immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. An immediate relative of a U.S. citizen for spouses is right here. It says it. U.S. citizen is a sponsor, okay? So if you're not an immediate relative and you're a resident, then the default is that you cannot adjust status unless you have maintained your status. Now, because you see down here the bars, the restrictions to adjustment, if you're not one of those categories above, okay? Now, here the default is if you ever fail to continuously maintain lawful status, so non-immigrant status like L1, J1, you name it, like P1, O, T, TN, any of those other visas or student visa F1, then yeah, you cannot obtain residency unless someone like Coco becomes a U.S. citizen. So, Coco, you need to touch base with us. We do have recommendations for you, and that is for you to become a citizen. You need to apply, okay? N400. Okay, so get that done ASAP. You really got to do it because otherwise, okay, well, he goes to school. Okay, I went on this whole explanation, but there are. I mean, if he still has F1, then that's good. For some reason, I was associating him losing his status completely. Okay, so yeah, so going back to this, okay, but now your main concern really is that okay, yeah, okay, so I would stop mentioning things like that on YouTube just in case they can identify you, okay, but yeah, because a bar to adjustment, if you're not one of those above, is that you've been working without authorization, right? If your spouse has been working without authorization. Now, if you are a citizen, then that's forgiven for him, okay, for your spouse. So this is just a different level, okay? So in general, I just recommend you become a U.S. citizen, apply for it, okay? If any, that will hold back any concerns on the legal part for your spouse. So hopefully that helps. Alrighty. Sorry, y'all. I went on that long explanation, but actually, this is a serious concern. So for those folks, if those folks in the situation where you overstayed your visa or lost your visa, whatnot, or you've been working without authorization, and your spouse is a resident and not a citizen, your spouse needs to become a U.S. citizen. Okay. Now, Don't give yourself too much of a hassle here, in the sense that, or of concern, like, I don't know how to take the test. Look, the test is 10 questions. President Trump was trying to like double it at least. So when you double it, that makes the number of questions you have to get correct, it will decrease. But right now, you only have to get 6 out of the 10 correct. 6 out of 10. Now, I don't want to give you a hard time, but if you can't get 6 out of 10, then we got more work to do, right? So we do provide resources. My point is, do not give up. Don't hesitate to file as long as you're eligible. You don't have to take the test before you file. You take it later on, right? So you got almost like at least 3 months. At least Houston and Dallas, we've been getting these interviews in like less than 3 months. Can't promise for the future for anyone, or anywhere else. But you want to go ahead and get started. We provide the resources as part of our Dropbox, part of the emails we send out, these practice quizzes. We make it as easy as possible for you. You just got to take the time to study, okay? Even if it's 5 minutes a day. Hey, y'all scrolling through on YouTube or Facebook, you can study for 5 minutes, okay? They make it fun. We got online quizzes, okay? Even the government has one. So, all right, just don't shoot yourself. Just a saying it. Don't give yourself a hard time. Maybe saying the word shoot is not a good idea. I apologize. By the way, rest in peace, all the folks that passed because of the Allen, Texas shooting. It is just go off tangent here for a second. That whether you stand on left or right politically or in the middle, just please don't just call it one thing. Okay, there's a lot of concerns going on. People just straight call it mental health, and it's just, or saying that gun control, gun safety, whatever heck phrase you want to call it. There's clearly needs to be a comprehensive situation, just based on the news, right? That's come out the past couple of weeks. It's a tough subject for all of us in America, right? Whether it doesn't matter about our immigration status, right? And it can affect any of us, because personally for our family, we were just at the outlet malls in Houston, but in this situation, it was an outlet mall in Allen near Dallas. So who knows? You just never know these days where it can happen. But clearly this individual, I believe they identified this person as a Hispanic person, but he labeled himself as like neo-Nazi. So when I hear information like that, it just clearly indicates to me that he lost his identity, right? He was looking somewhere else for a source, a gathering or something, like something he could have a life cause, I guess you can say. So it's very unfortunate that that's happened. And he felt that he needed to take other people's lives. It's very, very sad. All around. It's kind of crazy how the world works, but we had like 3 degrees of separation to some extent with one of the people that passed. So it definitely hits closer to home, even though I don't know that family, the Asian American family that close or that at all, but it's like 3 degrees of separation. So pretty close. So please don't take this subject lightly, whether it's mental health or gun safety, school safety. My goodness, it's a pretty crazy world out there. So anyway, back to questions. Sorry for going on my side chat here. Oh man, y'all got a lot of questions today. Thank you so much. Thank you for trusting me to see if I can answer your question. Okay, Zakir, you're asking about, you applied for AOS September 2022. Your spouse is a USC. Okay, great. That's a good start. And by the way, back to Coco for a second. If you start the case as resident, that's okay. You can always, what do you call automatic conversion. It automatically converts your case as if it was immediate relative, as if you started that way, right? So, but you have to first got to take that first step, apply to become for N400. And by the way, you can do that online, okay? And 400, you can do that online. You can't do that for the green card applications. Anyway, USC spouse, you received RFE for bona fide marriage evidence. Your question is, you stay with your brother and family and have no lease. What can I submit as proof? Y'all got to get a lease. Get on it. Why are y'all not living together? Come on, y'all got to live together. Got to get on it. Come on, folks. What do y'all think? Does Zakir need to get a lease together or what? I don't know of any case that hasn't been approved without any lease together. You've got to have some kind of documentation that you're living together. Now, it doesn't have to be like a lease, like an apartment. Maybe your spouse lives with you and, you just have your family members provide proof. Now, Zakir, if I were you, because your full name is on YouTube, I would not share more information other than that. You got to contact us, okay? Give us a call right up here. You're on YouTube, so you can see the number, or go to our website. Okay, they'll set you up for strategy session, okay? I can't really say more further information right now. And you absolutely got to tell the truth. Okay, you got married in June 2022. Spouse was enrolled in marketplace healthcare, so your accountant suggests to file taxes married, but separately. Will this be a problem for bona fide marriage? So bona fide marriage, filing married but filed separately is more for tax reasons. It doesn't mean that you're living separately. Okay, so there might be a little confusion on that, but so hopefully you have a good accountant, but typically it's because of why would they tell you to file separately? Usually it's because one of them owns a business, so you just want, maybe one spouse wants to get their taxes done by mid-April. But typically, like, businesses need more time because we're all busy, of course. You can file extension, okay? So that's typically a reason to file it married but separately. But if not, if you don't have a business, you might want to talk to your accountant. Just ask, why did you suggest that? But it should not affect you, okay, on that part. I'm glad you at least put married, okay, and not head of household or something, because I don't know any tax law, so don't ask me that, but I don't know why people put head of household. That confuses the government. All right, and me too. Immortals, you had an interview March 7th. Okay, that's about 2 months ago, a little over 2 months. No documents were requested by the CO. I'm guessing consular officer kept the passport. You have used all the options possible, asking for an update, inquiries, etc. Can you file a writ of mandamus? You started a petition February 2020. So actually, whenever you file a petition, doesn't matter. But yeah, you filed 2020. That's a while ago. It's more about when your interview last took place. March 7th, which embassy? Immortals. Let's see if you did comment more here. Okay. Your visa class IR1. The CO put you on administrative processing, AP. I think I see another comment. You got the same update as AP after submitting inquiries. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care a flip, okay, on this situation, unfortunately. And when it comes to consular processing cases where the spouse, like you, Immortals, is abroad, they definitely don't care, okay? They take a sweet time. They take their sweet time, okay? There is no timing mechanism or anything to say, hurry the heck up, but only the writ of mandamus, okay? That's the last option for you. You got to take action. Okay, but March 7th, it's been almost 90 days. You can do it, okay? Now, look, if it was like 60 days, I would still say wait, but they didn't send you any kind of, and if you get some kind of response on these inquiries, maybe they'll say like security background check. But you can probably tell yourself, you probably know best if you have any national security concerns, right? And of course, even if you did have some security concerns, they would tell you that in advance. So in my opinion, and a bunch of my other friends and colleagues, they use this administrative processing or visa refusal status to just kind of kick your case aside. And they don't care. It's crazy. They're just messing with us, messing with you. It's very unfortunate. But yeah, it's time to take action. Okay, you're welcome to Immortals. You're welcome to ask more questions. Just gotta give us a call, and we'll our cares team will get you scheduled for a strategy session. Okay. Oh, Lagos. Yeah, Lagos. They're pretty. Lagos is not as bad as Islamabad embassy, but yeah, it's still bad, and in the sense that I think the government does this is their version of discrimination. Okay, they don't want to call it that, obviously, but hey, if everything's good to go, no grounds of inadmissibility, you did the medical exam, you did biometrics, with all technology in the world, they can't just say security background check. We're going through that now. You would think they do that in advance. Why wait until now? So it's pretty ridiculous. Um, yeah, it's a cop out reason. Okay, basically, that's the best I can say it. All right, let's go to, I think the next person is River Science. You must be a science teacher, especially as you say you're here on J1 Scholar a decade ago. You cannot find travel history, but you found your I-94 online. Okay. Well, on the cbp.gov website, there is that one other box to say, what's it called? Travel history, but maybe it might not pop up. It doesn't pop up for everyone, even if when you're inputting the correct passport or something like that. Okay, River Science. Here's your next question. You're trying to show that you complete your home residency requirements. I gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, the travel history would be nice, but then do you have maybe like a stamp or something in your passport, or maybe a flight itinerary or like a flight ticket? It's been a long time, so I'm assuming it was a long time ago, your flight. But yeah, you definitely. And so, by the way, for folks that are not familiar, if you enter on J1, not everyone has a 2-year restriction, but if you do, it typically would be on your passport. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Omar, let's see. Omar, I'll get to you soon. Yeah, let me see. All right, folks, hang on tight. I gotta do something real quick for my team. Let me share. Okay, perfect. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, it's one of my team members. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard, to Omar real quick. I haven't heard that USCIS has waived interviews. I'm sorry, not USCIS, the consulates or embassies. And I think you said earlier that you're at Ankara, Turkey. I haven't heard that, but let me just double check with one of my team members here, see if they've heard that. Let's see. Let me go to the Gordon family. Okay, you don't have a lawyer, and you didn't know about. Okay, the officer said that they sent out the removal proceedings mail in 2019. Oh, okay. You didn't know about the court hearing at all. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, not the end of the road, okay, but you do have to file a motion to reopen, and we call the back part of it is a motion to reopen in absentia, okay? I think it's Latin, but motion to reopen in absentia because you have to give a very specific reasoning. The courts, the judges are not allowed to reopen cases. Um, the law says if it's been after 30 days, you can't reopen it unless it's for very specific reasons, like this one. Okay, Gordon family. So we would have chat with you. Of course, you're welcome to call in. Our cares team will qualify you for a consultation at no cost to you. And I'll mention something. Um, I guess I can only mention the YouTube channels the YouTube names that y'all have, so they can straight qualify you for it. Okay, because the consult, no cost to you, is not free for everyone. It depends on the scenario. Um, but yeah, if you weren't at that address anymore, so yeah, and it sounds like you filed for your case maybe within the last year or two. So sounds like you didn't have a scenario where you can even update the government or the court because you didn't know about it, right? So that makes sense. But upon leaving, the officer said that due to the fact of proceedings, he won't be able to make a decision at this time. That is correct, and you're in Vermont. Okay. What is that saying in Vermont? Live free or die or something like that. That's definitely what Texas is doing too. Live free or die. Um, okay, you'll call. Okay, look forward to it. Our cares team will we'll chat with you. And by the way, our cares team, when you first call in, they're not lawyers. They can share information, but if don't call in just to talk with them and not speak with us if you need legal advice. Okay. Um, because some people call and they like ditch basically, and they're like, I hope they didn't rely on that information. So if you really need legal advice, and you're not qualified for a no cost consultation, then we recommend that you pay for counsel, which by the way, just full transparency, as we do for quotes and all that on our fees, it's $149 for 30 minutes with our premier associates, or what you want to speak with me directly, that's $199 for 30 minutes. And the default for the no cost consultations is typically with our premier associates. Okay. Because you never know when I have to do something for work, court, or my kid. You just never know. So can't promise that I'll be there for the free ones. Okay, let's see. But as part of our process with the law firm, we do have daily meetings on a daily. It's kind of strange. I actually prefer less meetings. I'm trying to be a good boss and have less meetings and have quicker meetings. But my team is pretty good. Our legal team is pretty good to say, John, what about this situation? What about this situation? So because we want to make sure that the pathway is correct, okay, that it can go through. Because we absolutely, if we know that there's no chance for someone, we do not accept the case because it's not a case. It would make no sense. But there are scenarios that some people don't share all the information in your immigration history, and they come to find out 6 months or 2 years later that, okay, you're not eligible because you're now revealing some information that we should have known before. So it's very important. If you speak with a lawyer, share all the information you need to share, okay? Because then you can get the proper advice. Someone's on Instagram. I don't know. Is this Ukrainian language or Russian language? Sorry, I can't respond if I don't know. I don't know how to read. I honestly don't even know how to read Chinese. So apologies there. If someone is a Chinese teacher, please connect with me. I need to get in touch with you. Go back to my roots. Let's see. Who's next? Kind of losing track here. Okay. All right, Anu, you say, welcome, Anu. Nice to see you again. You're saying visa with just legal presence. I think I understand. Oh yeah, you're commenting about someone else's case. Yeah, yeah. There's something called 245K that allows for 180 days of no status, basically. But yeah, that's only for employment based. Okay, based on a company sponsoring. And Omar, that was to your question earlier that yeah, I was saying earlier about the waiver for interviews. I think your case is in Turkey, so I'm not familiar with the government waiving interviews for IRCR. Okay, my apologies. I'm the world shield. You're from Ukraine. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, more power to Ukraine to overcome this invasion. I don't know who that is. Let's see. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up, folks. By the way, if you are, hey, y'all, if you're on TikTok, do me a favor, please. Give it a follow at greencardguys_John. By the way, the state of Montana has banned TikTok. I think that just happened this week. But I just heard on NPR this morning. This will be interesting. We definitely need to protect national security, but we don't need the government to assume that for everything, especially if nothing actually happened yet. So that'd be kind of a crazy situation if the government started, if the courts started saying they can predict the future that certain things will happen. But yeah, this is not like Minority Report, the movie with Tom Cruise. Okay, you can't be doing that. That's not right. unless they're banning companies in general, but they shouldn't. If I was in Congress or something, if I'm going to ban something, it's got to be in general for that specific reason of, let's say, Chinese or communist influence. It's kind of crazy. This has been going on since what, 1940s or something, or 1920s. The communist, the fear period, whatever I learned in history back in school. The red something, I can't remember now. But anyways, if you're on TikTok, give it a follow. If you're not on TikTok, don't worry. It can. There's a lot of good stuff out there that people are sharing. We're just sharing tips in a quick manner. If you have received any value from our conversation today or in the past, please, if you don't mind, give us some feedback. Go to reviewtinglaw.com. It is scrolling down below here on the screen, reviewtinglaw.com. And again, if you are wanting more information that maybe we're not able to share with you on, maybe the question you have right here, you're welcome to go to our Facebook group, tinglawclub.com. Let's chill at my club. Okay. Welcome to our Facebook group. And we do share more information there. And I think that wraps it up. Okay, folks, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Take care now. Bye-bye.